This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a fly ball to deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia sends one the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the wall. And the legend grows. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season. Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Happy Friday, everybody. I know it's a little rainy. I know it's a little windy, but we're here in the Treehouse. The good news about the Treehouse is that it's covered. There's booze. There's specials. And we got a ball game tonight. As of right now, I have just been tipped off that the umpires believe we will be able to play tonight. That we will have a game 2 of the Athletics and the Guardians. That is the belief. They're going to go out and walk the field around 5:15. I'm looking outside the doors here of the Treehouse. It's sprinkling. I mean, it was pouring for a while. But the thing is, the drainage in most of these ballparks, does your outfield drain well? Because the infield's covered. And then once it starts raining, the dirt's not an issue because you just take the diamond dry and you put it all around home plate, all around the dugouts and go into the outfield. And that just soaks up all the water in the dirt. It's really just how does your outfield dry? How does your outfield drain? Because the infield has been covered. If you got a chance to listen to the postgame show last night, the A's Clubhouse show, as I was doing the show from our A's Cast booth, I was watching Clay Wood and his group cover the field. They raked everything, got everything ready, and then they put the tarp. So the tarp's been on the field since last night. The field, the actual infield, and pretty much everything around what you would consist of behind the umpire. That part of the grass is covered all the way to the coaches on the coaches' boxes on the right, down the right field line and left field line. Everything's covered. Everything's been covered since last night. So there is a belief that the rain, looking at the high-def Doppler, is that we are going to get our game in tonight, and let's go game 2. And excited. But I got to tell you the thing that I'm most excited about. If you ever wanted to say, am I all in as a loyal employee of the Athletics? If this doesn't say it all. You know what? Rip this part of the show and put it on X. That's what you rip this right here. Since people like to take 2 seconds of the show and not everything that was said on the show and throw it on there to get some cheap reaction, put this on the show.
Yeah, it's called context is what you're looking for.
Context. Yes. Context. Which, by the way, for the people who do that, I'm just going to let you know, I don't care anymore. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Fair. Real quick programming alert. Martín Gallegos is going to be up here in about 10 minutes.
So we've been working today. Kyle McCann, we got some good stories. One of the things about what's great about doing this show and for you guys to watch the show is to get information and to hear it, see it firsthand from the players that you're not getting everywhere else. And we're going to hear 2 stories today. And really the Kyle McCann story about making the big leagues, being told about making it his dream coming true, and then being able to call his parents. It's a beautiful thing about our game. It never gets old, and it happens every single year. There's 30 teams. It's happening in every single manager's office. Mark Kotze told us yesterday it's the best part of his job. Fran Reardon down in AAA telling guys they're going to the show. It's the best part of his job. And you're going to get a firsthand account today from Kyle McCann and Mitch Spence. I fell in love with Mitch Spence down at spring training. I'll tell the story, but I'll tell it again right now. So down at spring training, it's so interesting. When a pitcher gets done, or even a certain position player gets done, you're able to go down into the clubhouse and talk to the guy because spring training, some of these guys are going to shower up and they're out of there. So you get to go down and talk to them. Well, just the way things are working right now, we don't have a lot of media covering the team. So I'd never met Mitch Spence. He just pitched. He pitched well. We have a running joke, if you watched the show yesterday, with our general manager, David Force, on the David Force show, about how it was an ugly fight in Nashville between Cody, the commander, and our general manager, because usually David Force down at the winter meetings leads us off. It's like a State of the Union. But this time he was busy, so he was like literally our last guest down at and we have how many guests at the winter meetings do we average? 20-something?
Yeah, close to 30. Yeah,
so yeah, we interview everybody. So he was like our last, basically David Forrest was coming to do our show, and then right down the hall from us at the convention center, the Grand Ole Opry, but 2 times before that was down San Diego at the Manchester Hyatt. This one's with the Grand Ole, not the Grand Ole Opry.
Opryland.
We were at Opryland next to the Grand Ole Opry, which, by the way, I did after that last show go over to the Grand Ole Opry. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember
some of the biggest names, and I'm just not country, but the names of the people that have performed there is crazy. The star power that's been to the Grand, and that's not the original one. That's down Broadway Street. I went to that one too. But the Grand Ole Opry that's there now and the names that perform there, it's stunning.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I, when we were there, we went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and
big deal.
I will say,
if you're into country music, big deal.
It was a big deal as someone who doesn't know literally any country music singers, pretty much.
You know Willie Nelson.
I knew like those names, but like when I saw something,
Dolly Parton.
Like who were some of these people? The coolest part of the thing, and they had the Trans Am from Smoking the Bandit.
There you go.
That was I love that part.
My wife is so into country. That's one of the reasons why I know a little bit about country. But anyway, David Force was our last guest at the winter meetings, and right after that, he was going in the room to do the Rule 5 draft. He and Cody, it got heated.
It got a little contentious, as they say.
Yes, it got a little heated.
A little like the Mets Brewers earlier today.
You were saying, oh yeah, we've had our first fake "we're tough guys in baseball" today. Game 1 between the Brewers and the Mets. The Brewers doing what the Brewers do, and they ruined the Mets season. It's over.
David Stearns, he's not the guy.
Over. It is over. So the Brewers win Game 1 at Shea. Reese Hoskins slides into Jeff McNeil. It's not that big of a deal. A little bit of contact. He slides past the bag. Next thing McNeil's acting like a tough guy once the umpire's in front of him. The benches come out. Everybody's pointing at each other. Nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants any part of it. I mean, Reese Hoskins is a big kid.
Yeah.
Now, he was all out. Last thing he wants to do is get in a fight Game 1. He was out all last year. But what if Reese Hoskins just said, hey, everybody get back. Tell his teammates get back. And just stand there and go, you and me. Let's do it like hockey.
That'd be great.
You think McNeil really wanted that?
No. I hate to be mean, but McNeil's he's not saying he's made of glass, but he does get hurt a lot. So something could have happened.
He was F-bombing and pointing, and he was going nuts. I mean, we're at a point to where everybody's so afraid of contact. It's gotten to be a joke.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to take us on that aside with the game that happened at Citi Field, because we were talking about David Force and I, how we don't get along. It was really rough in Nashville.
You were telling him, hey, listen, you and your data, you can't run a team with a computer. You were telling him you had not one guy, you had 2 guys.
I think I had 3 or 4, actually.
You had 3 or 4 guys thrown in at David Force, and David Force goes, no, you're an idiot, and he went and picked somebody else, and it got ugly.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think we've
we
haven't made up since.
We didn't leave Nashville with a good feeling. Our jobs were on the line.
Yeah, I mean, when I sent him a text,
that's why I wear a foam finger.
When I sent him a text about coming on with us, it's always are you available today? And he's like, yeah. It's just one word answers. We get back to each other. Totally kidding. But
I love the foam finger. I still have my Warrior. I don't even know what year that's from. It wasn't your Warriors.
Was a Chris Cohan Warriors?
It was a Chris Cohan Warrior days. I still have a foam,
Gary St. Jean.
I still have a foam finger from the I wouldn't even know who was the coach then.
Mike Montgomery.
I think it was before Mike. The Stanford great Mike Montgomery and Cal.
I remember it was a Cal Bear, but Well,
I don't know.
Now we're going down a rabbit hole. Bad
PJ
Warrior.
Carlissimo.
Was this before or after he got choked out?
Was it the choke? I don't know. I don't know. I can't. But I still have that old war. I'm a foam finger guy. I'm taking this home to the home studio. I like it. But anyway, Mitch Spence. I go down in the clubhouse, and Mitch Spence does the thing with John Shea and Martín Gallegos, who has just walked in, and they're asking him the questions that they're going to use for their. And then I just want to introduce myself and had a conversation. And he said the thing I love. I just want to force the front office staff to make a move. And I went, yes, that's the mentality you have to have. You've got to force them, like I say all the time at the trading deadline. People call into the clubhouse show, and they say, well, you got to do this, and you got to. I'm like, this team has to force the front office to make the move. You've got to force all front offices. They have a way they like to do business. You need them to force their hand. Because let's face it, trying to save a team through the trading deadline is just bad business. It may satisfy some people, but it's like it's kind of like how I look at these long-term contracts the day they're signed. It's like a sugar high. You get this great sugar high. Oh, yeah, this is great. And then like 2 hours later, you want to take a nap. The sugar high is awful. And like these long-term contracts prove to be over and over again bad ideas. Trying to save a team at the trading deadline where it's coming down to the deadline. And let's face it, that's kind of what they did when Marte showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather still have Jesus Luzardo at this point.
He pitched opening day yesterday.
He's supposed to be going to be a breakout guy. I can't even believe he's on a list.
We got to get into that. We got to do that article.
That's a joke. That article, what, you just want to make fun of it? Who did it?
That's actually our good friend Kylie McDaniel from ESPN.
It's terrible. I'd tell him, how can Joe Adell be the breakout player for the Angels for the 5th straight year?
Joey Bart for the Giants. He might even be on the team in 3 days.
And don't be talking about that Joey Bart to the A's thing. There's some people. Susan Slessor's doing that.
Someone told me that Susan thinks he'd be a B&A or something.
We need another catcher.
And we only have like 9.
How many more catchers? Do I need to remind everybody only one catcher plays? It's not like wide receiver where, well, we could have 5 wide.
Well, look at it this way. The Padres are playing all shortstops on their infield and outfield. Why don't we go all catchers?
But they're playing.
Yeah.
That's the point. They're playing. You draft like Bill Parcells always wanted to draft tight ends.
Yeah.
Because tight ends can be made into a lot of different things. They can be tight ends. They can slim down. They can be wideouts. They can be beefed up and become linebackers and defensive linemen. Or you can really beef up tight ends and they become offensive linemen. Right?
Yeah.
There's things that you can do. Wow, they just went. Hey, Amelia, was this a club?
It's Club Treehouse.
I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, sometimes you just got taken. You got to grab the bull.
You got to take initiative.
You got to grab the bull by the horns and let them know.
There we go. All right, there we go.
But yeah, that's what shortstops are, right? You take shortstops. Why? Why do you take a shortstop? You think you're a draft guy. Why do you take shortstops?
Because they're the best athletes.
They're the best athletes. So you know what I can do with them? Where's Daryl Hernandez playing tonight?
He is playing third
base. I can take a guy. Robin Yount. A lot of talk about Mookie Betts going from right field to shortstop, which, oh, by the way, is historic because it's the reverse. And he's doing it at 31. He's not doing it at like 24, 25, or 23.
Is it time to panic? He had an error last night.
He's made a couple. He's made a couple. But you know what the thing is with Mookie Betts getting sidetracked again? But if he just plays adequate defense and makes the transition and hits, he'll easily be the National League MVP.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that.
I mean, it's like, stop betting on Ohtani.
Oh, wow.
Too soon?
You went there, huh?
Is it too soon? Is it too soon to make gambling jokes with Ohtani? Really? Wow, you guys are a tough crowd. But Mookie Betts, if he plays an adequate short all year long, they're going to win the division. He's the runner. Just give him the MVP trophy now.
So you're still talking about bets with Ohtani?
Bets on Betts or bets on Ohtani? I mean, however you want to bet, that's your prerogative. We can't bet because if I could bet, Bobby Crosby and I, former Rookie of the Year, you might have heard of him now, Coach, today talked with him in the clubhouse. We both, if we could bet, but we can't, I'm pounding the A's over still at 57.5. I don't care if they lost last night. But anyway, Mitch Spence made the front office. They like him. Rule 5, he doesn't make the club. He's offered back to the Yankees, and with all the Yankees pitching troubles, don't you think they'd be like, we'll take him back? They had to have him on. He's got to be here. Not only did he have to be on now, he's got to be on all year long, but he forced their hand because of the way he pitched. So we're going to get firsthand accounts of their conversations with Mark Kotsay. Well, McCann was, you ready to go? Martín Gallegos, ready to go? We're going to get the firsthand accounts from them. Kyle McCann, how he got called into the office. And when he gets called into the Darren Bush calls him into the office. And at that point, he doesn't know, right? Because he had this situation last year where he got sent down to AAA. So Kyle McCann's going to tell us about that conversation. And then Mitch Spence is going to talk about that conversation where Mitch Spence wasn't as dramatic. Mitch Spence was like, runs into Mark Kotsay, and Mark Kotsay says, I've been looking for you. So it wasn't like Kyle McCann gets called. Kyle McCann got called in. It's almost like he's in detention because the principal was there, David Forrest, and the teacher, Mark Kotsay, and he got the news. So, but Mitch Spence, Kyle McCann coming your way about how they were told and their families and crying and all that cool stuff. How are you?
I'm good. I just saw AJ Puck pitching for the Marlins over there. I guess he's a starter again. It's crazy.
Yeah, they with all the different guys going down for them, they at a necessity, they had to turn him back in and into a starter. I still think long term for Puck and his health, maybe this time it turns around. But his whole thing as a starter is he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of similar in a way to what's going on with Mason Miller right now. Mason Miller, obviously the injury concerns. Can he be a starter? He's a reliever now, and AJ Puck went through that, and now he's back in the rotation. So it is possible. I mean, different. Everybody's different, but kind of similarities there.
Well, you start to wonder, too, and this is where you'd want to get with the data guys and really break it down, is a guy that can't give you a lot of innings and can't give you a lot of starts, is he really more valuable than if the new role is he pitches a lot out of the bullpen? Where is he technically more valuable? I know in your mind you'll say future-wise, like it's always this, you're trying to sell me the perfect story about a long-term starting pitcher who could be great for you in the postseason. Well, right now, this guy, when he pitches as a starter, he doesn't stay healthy. Are you really how can you convince me that having him in the bullpen pitch more during a season, how can you tell me that's not more valuable?
Yeah, I mean, whatever keeps him healthy. I mean, that's the most important thing. You got to keep him healthy. I mean, he's so fun to watch. And I mean, this spring, I mean, he was probably. I mean, every time he came in, I stopped what I was doing. If he would come in the 7th inning of a Cactus League game, no matter if it's like the B squad, C squad for the other team, I wanted to watch him pitch because it's so fun to see him going out there throwing gas, 101, 102. Yeah. So I mean, you want to see that as much as possible. I mean, that inning he had against the Giants the other day was just filthy. I mean, it made pitching ninja. I saw and. I mean, we know he can do that on a consistent basis. It's just keeping him healthy. And you know what? If that's a relief role for the long term, so be it. I think he's okay with that. He just wants to be able to contribute at the major league level, however he can, as long as he can stay healthy.
And let's face it, you could be very, very valuable and make a lot of money and pitch for a long time as a power 1-inning guy.
Yeah.
I mean, these starters, they're not lasting. So it's like, man, if you become next thing you know, you become an all-star closer and you do it for a long time, you're going to have generational wealth.
No, definitely. I mean, like you said, more and more now we're seeing these guys who come up and throw hard. The injuries are up so much. Everyone's getting Tommy John nowadays and, struggling to stay healthy. So, I mean, if that's the future for him, I think the A's are okay with that as long as he could, like I said, stay healthy and put together a full year. That's going to be the thing to watch with him is just can he stay off the injured list for the whole season because, I mean, he's one of the guys that they're obviously counting on to be their closer. I mean, they haven't said it officially, but I have to assume he's their closer going into the season.
You have a lot of pressure, my man. You're like the one guy covering the team. It's crazy, but it is true.
Yeah.
What is that like? I mean, you're the guy. I mean, normally there's multiple people going around asking questions. I mean, you're from a print standpoint, which is not a print anymore. It's basically online. You're the one guy who would be a beat writer covering the team It's strange, but it's true. What is it like?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got used to it last year. Matt Kawahara was covering the team for the Chronicle, and then he got a job over in Houston, so I became kind of the one-man beat, so to say. And it is weird. I mean, it's got its pros and cons, right? I mean, it's fun to kind of be the only guy in the clubhouse sometimes, and you get to know all these guys, the players, the coaches. They all see your face every day, and so it's like, he's the guy who's covering us. Like they know who I am when I walk in there, and they know, I'm coming in there to, do work. But at the same time, it is a little weird, especially, you say you're on the road and they're going through a tough stretch, and it's just you and Mark Kotze after a game, a frustrating game, and you're just there kind of awkwardly trying to figure out how you're going to frame a certain question about a bad moment that happened that night. But I give Mark Kotze a lot of credit. I mean, he's done a great job just like handling, what it's like here in terms of media situations. It's pretty unique. I mean, I don't know if there's any other situation in baseball, with a team where it's just one, beat writer covering the team. It is a little weird, but, I embrace it. I just try to do the best I can. I try to cover as much of the team as I can and bring, all angles of coverage. Try to cover every guy in spring training. I mean, it was tough because you're trying to spotlight all these guys, all these new guys that come into camp, and try to get them out there to the public so all the fans can know who they are. But it's definitely weird. I've gotten used to it, but it's still, it's got its challenges, but I look forward to it every day. I mean, I love doing it.
I mean, just the complete opposite of, let's say, like the Yankees, who have a million guys, especially when it's at home, when you have people that don't travel that are there, versus having one. It's almost like you could like do a study on it. But looking at the team, all right, what are you excited about? Let's talk about some. I mean, get the foam finger. You want a foam? You want me to get you a foam? But you probably don't want to have your name associated with that, but. Get your foam finger out. What are you excited about with this club 2024?
I mean, all throughout spring, right, there's a lot of optimism, just that it feels like this season is going to be a dramatic improvement in terms of, obviously they won 50 games. The bar is like pretty low, right, from 50 wins to improve upon that. You hope they can win more than 50 games. But, talking to some guys early in spring, I think you mentioned it. I think the Vegas line was still 56.5 or whatever. And
57.5.
And you talk to players in spring, and they're kind of like shocked. They don't even take it as offense. They just are shocked that that's even out there. That they feel like they're way more than a 57-win team. But obviously, what happened last year and what's going on outside the field with the relocation stuff and all that, I think that kind of hinders the views of people who are looking at this team from the outside and don't really see kind of the young players that came up last year and performed well in the second half. And going into spring, I think. A lot of these guys have chips on their shoulder. Whereas a guy like Lawrence Butler, Zach Geloff, they feel like they're going to come out and kind of prove some people wrong. That we're better than what you guys are projecting us to be. And I mean, I go into this season feeling like there is going to be a lot better season. Whether it's the pitching staff, it feels a lot more stable. I know Alex Wood didn't have a great start yesterday, but you feel like over the course of a season, you can rely on him to give you some quality outings. The guys who were here last year have gotten their feet wet with major league time, and guys like Geloff, Lawrence Butler, Nick Allen is here, Darrell Hernandez is here, and I'm excited to see him tonight get his first major league start. Hopefully, if the rain doesn't rain us out. But there's just a feeling like it's going to be a big step forward. How big of a step? I don't know. If they win 65, 70, I mean, everyone has their own definition of like what's a step forward, right? They could close to 500, 70 wins. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think the feeling is that it's a lot better position they were last year, where, I mean, at times it felt kind of hopeless with the guys that were just coming up and down. There was no real stability on this roster, on this pitching staff. Now, at least it feels like there's a structure in place, a core of guys you could kind of, pinpoint as, okay, once we get back into, contention, real contention for playoffs and stuff like that, we kind of have identified some of the pieces that are going to be part of that core. All
right. I'm going to give you, my weatherman report. You ready?
Let's go.
I'm just looking outside. I'm not going to go to my app. I'm just going to look out. It's not raining.
No,
it's not. So when you were coming in, I can tell you, I can look outside the door. It is not sprinkling. There is nothing falling from the sky right now.
That's good. That was pouring when
weather
I
report. Weather and noons at the top and the bottom here on A's Cast Live.
Do it all.
There are no drops coming down. I think the umpires are going to come out at 5:00 in about 20 minutes, and they'll mull around for about 15 minutes. We're hearing that we're going to get the call at about 5:15. If it stays like this, I think we're playing.
Yeah, if it stays like this, should be good. Obviously it's down to the umpire. I'm sure the last thing they want to do is play a doubleheader. I mean, I don't think anybody wants that. So we'll see. I think there's a good chance based on how it looks right now.
So we were all a part of putting together a list of who's going to get the most wins, saves, home runs. We brought you on board. I went strikeouts. I went Stripling, right?
You want him for wins and strikeouts?
Yeah, I'm going with the death ball.
Wow,
so
high on
I need
Stripling.
the death ball on the mound tonight.
Yeah.
Whatever the gyro spin, gyro this.
Yeah.
Stripling, he reminds me of so many A's. You could go back. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I really think guy's 7. I got one buddy on that texts me all the time because we talked about, I talk about Casimir. You think about Frank Thomas, great Dave Stewart. I mean, tell me guys have really Bob Welch, guys that have come to the A's and revived the old career. Ross Stripling to me fits that mold.
Yeah, a guy like Rich Hill, I think of as well. Those type of guys. He's definitely, fits that bill of a guy who's trying to resurrect his career a
Dennis
little bit.
Eckersley, now that comes to mind. My God.
Yeah, and the personality too. It feels like an Oakland A's player. He's a really talkative guy. He's really good. Got to know him real well in spring, and he'll come to you and start talking to you. It's not the other way around. So he kind of fits that mold, and it's a great resource as well for the young guys to have a guy who's done it all. A guy like Mitch Spence, I think that's the perfect kind of mentor, and I've seen that kind of at the end of spring and here in the regular season. Him kind of following him around. Mitch Spence, a guy who's probably going to start the year in the bullpen as a long man. Ross Stripling's obviously has done that most of his career and has had success kind of being in between roles, a starter and a reliever. So I think he brings multiple, values and, not just on the field, but on the field, he does have a lot to prove. His spring wasn't that great. And he talked about, even though he's a veteran guy, he does place an emphasis on his spring results. Like he wants to see good results. And I think his last outing was probably his best one. It still wasn't great, but there were some outings where he got roughed up a little bit. I know he was working on that death ball that you talked about.
The death ball.
Yeah, I think he still hasn't figured out if it's a death ball or gyro ball. I don't know what he wants to call it yet, but it does seem to be getting him more swing and misses and hopefully more strikeouts. I know Jock Peterson talked about it during one of their games when he struck him out twice. They were kind of having fun over there in Salt River Field one day when Stripling struck him out twice. So that is one of the big storylines. I mean, that's something I'm looking forward to tonight to see how that works in action. I know he was working really hard on it, try to hone it in. He was working on it
more
all
horizontal, right?
Yeah.
The way he likes to explain it. You think vertical.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cody, can you move the screen over? It's like I'm looking at the screen, the camera's over there. So you got vertical, you got horizontal,
yep.
right? All I know is if the pitch is not doing well, you mentioned the gyro spin. If it's doing well, you market it. Oh, it's the death ball.
Yes.
If you're striking out dudes, it's the death ball.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, if the strikeouts are racking up, it's a death ball.
We were trying to think that gyro spin was like Daisuke Matsu. Yeah, that's like the last one that we did. We did gyro. Players, just go through some players you're excited about.
Well, one guy that I was excited about was Miguel Andujar, who's starting the year on the IL. So hopefully his year isn't, hopefully he's able to come back relatively soon, because I thought he was going to be like a chance to be like Brent Rooker last year, where he kind of, was toiling around and breaks out last year. I know he had a great rookie year, but it seemed like he had a good chance to resurrect his career. But I mean, all the young guys who are getting their chance, I think Shea Langoliers, I think he's a pick around the clubhouse who a lot of guys feel like he's going to have a true breakout year. The way he ended the second half last year, there was a lot of momentum, and he went off this spring. I mean, it's spring training numbers, but he was hitting the ball hard. The exit velos were all off the charts. They were really high. He went well last night, but it got caught. But I think there's an expectation for him to have a big year. Geloff having his first full season. I mean, high expectations obviously for that. Lawrence Butler is a guy who kind of benefits from that Andujar injury, and that he's going to be able to play a lot. He's playing tonight against a lefty, which is kind of surprising, but it just shows you the confidence that Mark Kotsay has in him. They like the quality at bats that he takes. I think Brent Rooker is going to have a good year again. I think a lot of people look at his All-Star year as kind of a fluky All-Star performance. Obviously, he kind of went downhill after that first month, but he did pick it up in the last month of the season. I think he has a chance to be an All-Star again. I really think he's that good of a hitter. So we'll see him in there as much as we can. And then the pitching side, just seeing Mason Miller, if he can establish himself as a closer. Lucas Erceg, the year he had last year was awesome. One of probably the most feel-good stories on this team. He kind of solidified himself as a major league reliever. Now to see him in year 2, that's kind of cool. Last night was his first opening day. A lot of first opening days for a lot of guys on this team. So that's always cool to watch and see how they kind of react to that, and having their families out here. But I mean, just all the young guys, just seeing them kind of go through their first full year as a big leaguer and seeing their ups and downs, because they're going to hit, their downs not always going to be great, but kind of seeing how they handle that and how they come out through at the end of the season.
One guy who I picked, you guys all went Mason Miller on saves.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have the death ball. His slider more is vertical.
Yes.
It's almost like a split. Is Danny Jimenez. Danny, 2 years ago, last year he had the arm problems, proved that he could close games out. No matter how well Mason Miller pitches, it is going to be a long time before we see him probably go back-to-back nights. What if the A's win 3 games in a row? He's not going all 3. I think a guy who benefits off that the most, talk about Danny Jimenez.
Yeah, I mean, we all know he has filthy stuff, like when he's right. He does have some command issues at times, but what he does stuff-wise, like it's up there with all the pitchers on the staff. Like it's really good. He does have injury history too, though. He's kind of a small guy, and he has had some injuries, so that's something that's always kind of a concern as well. But yeah, definitely. I mean, if there's a situation where it's like Mason Miller can't go on this night, like you said, maybe a third night in a row or something, or even second night in a row, I think Danny Jimenez is probably the next guy in line to get those save opportunities. Certainly, if it's a high leverage opportunity, that's probably Kotze's first guy to go to. But Lucas Ursig in that mix as well. But I think between Miller, Ursig, and Jimenez, those are his 3 trusted guys for sure.
How about cocktail or anything for happy hour? Anything you need before you?
What are the specials out here?
I haven't seen yet. There are specials. Grab the list. Grab the list. What do we got going special wise? Happy hour. Come out and see us, as it's a Friday. I mean, it's not that bad, that story. All right. Happy hour specialty cocktails. We got the old Kettle One vodka pink lemonade.
Sounds pretty refreshing.
Pretty delish, right?
Yeah.
We got Blue Moon Draft on special and Hop Valley Citrus Mistress. Do you have you ever had that?
Not the Hop Valley. Not that one. I've had a Hop Valley, but not the Mistress.
Citrus Mistress.
No, I haven't had that one. I've had the one that they made for us last year here. Hop Valley did. They had an Ace centric beer, but I haven't had that one. As soon as you said that, that's why my head perked up a little. I'm like, oh, Hop Valley.
So Cody basically is worthless. He's sitting there so we have a screen, just to let everybody know, we have a screen so we can actually see the show and see what's going on. He's got it so far right that if you look at the screen, we're not looking at the camera anymore. He's literally not paying attention. I bring up the specialty beer, and it's like, oh, what? Well, yeah.
Big beer guy.
Kettle One vodka, a little pink lemonade. That way,
that sounds
players
good.
Won't smell it on your breath when you're going at it. So you go 1 for 4 today.
Have to pop some gum in there before I go in the clubhouse.
Before we let you go,
yep.
Anything about the season, baseball? Last year was so much about rule changes. Now we're not. What about this season? Are you like, you know what? I'm really paying attention to that.
I mean, as far as just the season, I mean, everyone looked at like what the Dodgers did this offseason and spending, what was it, $300 million. So I mean, I think we're all looking at that team and seeing how that's going to go. Is that going to guarantee them a trip to the World Series? Like it's always been kind of. I mean, last year they got swept by the Diamondbacks. We saw what happened there, and I think everyone's all eyes on that. I mean, the Towny stuff, I think you guys were joking about earlier, but that's something.
Well, do you bet on bets or do you bet on Ohtani?
I mean,
or is it too soon?
I think it's too soon. But that team is stacked, man. I think everyone is.
Do you really want to go through it as adults here? There's multiple wires from your bank account. You know what's so funny? And I love my guys at MLB Network, and they're so generous with their time. But baseball people don't really like to cover uncomfortable stories. They just don't, right? And Brian Kenny, and Ron Darling's a Yale guy. Ron Darling's his former A. He's a really smart guy. And they're like, well, I thought his speaking in front of the media was sincere. I believe him. And it was like, guys, whether you believe Ohtani or whether baseball is investigating or not, it's California law that you can't pay off a bookie. It's against the law. Like, they don't even bring legal stuff into it.
Yeah.
They don't even bring, they're just like, he did a press conference and he sounded, I believe him. All right, let's move on. And like, whether you believe him or not, your bank account cannot send money to an illegal bookie in the state of California. It's against the law. And oh, by the way, hey, that interpreter, he's vanished. Hey, the PR guy that had the interpreter talk to ESPN for 90 minutes. He's vanished. Everybody's vanishing.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah. I mean, there's still. I think there's still a long way to go in that. There's going to be a lot of more investigating going on there, and then I think we're going to get more of an idea of, what's going on. But I mean, I think we're still at the surface of that right now. It's still early on, but
you'll be in a situation that if it all just goes away, especially from a baseball standpoint, do you set the precedent of what Hall of Fame wide receiver Chris Carter said on ESPN years ago, which he had to backtrack, was always have a fall guy.
Yep.
You always got to have in your group of people that you hang with. If you get popped for this, you get popped for that, you got to have a fall guy. Does this just prove Chris Carter was correct? And if you're a baseball player and you get in trouble, i.e. steroids, i.e. PEDs, i.e. anything, you got to have a fall guy because, hey, Towny had a fall guy.
I mean, it seems like it, right, based on how it's all played out. But I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Sports is so it's entering. There's so much, gambling now is okay, and it's just.
I agree.
It's a whole new. I don't think we know what's coming.
This is a franchise going to Vegas, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
how much when Major League Baseball gets to Vegas, how are they going to be like you as employees?
Right.
You'd be like, dude, we're doing a show in a casino every day. Telling me I can't gamble?
Yeah,
that'll be crazy. And you got what do we got? FanDuel.
I was going to bring it up. The Yankees last night, from their Twitter account, tweeted Nestor settled in plus 112 to record 5+ Ks. Check odds from FanDuel Sportsbook, and they tag This is the Yankees' main Twitter account.
Yankees.
Not
the Yankees are promoting gambling on their Twitter account, but they're telling us as MLB employees, not the A's, it's MLB. They're telling us we can't gamble. We've got to watch. I don't know. You got the same. You may have it. We're in the same umbrella.
Yeah.
We work for the team. You work for MLB, but it's basically the same. You have to watch like that 45, 50-minute video.
Oh, yeah, every year. Yeah.
Every year. We're not allowed to bet. It's like, what? The Yankees can do that again.
But hold on, let me pull it up again.
This is what the Yankees are putting on their Twitter account.
Last night it was at 5:34 our time. Nestor settled in plus 112 to record 5+ Ks with the check mark emoji from your iPhone. Odds from at FanDuel Sportsbook.
Now, I wish California would have voted it in. We didn't. But laws are still laws. I get it. We can't just how do you say $4.5 million to a bookie and walk away?
Yeah.
And then just claims I don't handle anything in my finance. Tim Keown of ESPN, they put it out there. It was fascinating going, I've never covered somebody so much and I know absolutely nothing about him. And no one knows anything about him. Like nobody he played with the Angels knew he had a girlfriend who was a professional basketball player.
It's crazy.
It's not like she was randomly hiding in the mountains outside of Tokyo.
Yeah.
She's a professional, but no one knew he had a girl. No one knows anything about.
Nobody even knew he had a dog. Remember when his dog was like the star of the show?
We're talking about a girlfriend who becomes his wife. No one knows he got married. No one knows anything. So how do we know he didn't have a gambling problem? We know nothing about him.
Yeah. He's a mysterious man.
No doubt.
The most mysterious superstar of all time.
That's what Phil Nevin said. Nevin said in that same thing, he goes, I never knew what Shohei was doing most of the time.
You're the
manager of the team. You don't know where your best player is?
That's crazy.
So how can anybody say they know what he could and could not do away from the field?
Yeah, exactly.
I asked you, Cody.
You don't know.
How
so he could have a gambling problem.
Right? If you're going to say, because all of a sudden agent players said, well, he doesn't care about other sports. Well, how do you know?
Actually, that's false. There's pictures of him at Rams games. There's pictures of him at other sporting events that have surfaced on old social media over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so this whole thing, like everybody tried to build the case that he was innocent, right? Because no one wants the golden goose to go. It's like Tiger Woods in golf. Nobody wants they have suppressed so much on Tiger Woods. It's unbelievable. But, and trust me, I know a bunch of people really deep in the game. They have suppressed a ton of Tiger Woods, but he's the golden goose for ratings. He was the golden goose so many different ways. But, when you think about it, everybody just wants to go away because he's this international great star and blah, blah. But it works both ways, right? You can't say as an Angel player, oh, there's no way he gambled because he never talked or cared about sports. And then turn around and go, but you know what? I know nothing about him. I never saw him away from the field. We never did anything. I don't know what his interest. You have no idea what his interest could be. So you can't say he would be for or against something. No one knows really who he is as a person.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You didn't even know he had a girlfriend that he'd get married to.
I don't know he had a dog.
Yeah, we found out the dog's name was Decoy, I think. Yeah. The quote was, "I don't know what Shohei's doing every day at the ballpark. I leave that to him." That's what Phil Nevin said in June of last year.
Yeah, in this ESPN deal, Tim Kewen, he's a Bay Area guy. Tim has on there about how they had to have it was like days of meetings just to figure out Shohei having one press conference in Korea. Wow. One press conference. How do we get this guy to show up and just speak, and that's it, and then he walks away? It took all this planning. He has a girlfriend who right after the season he would marry. No one knew she existed. So she could have been at Angels games, and no one even knew who she was or knew she existed.
Maybe. Could have been.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What do you do in your private life? What do we not know about Martín Gallegos?
I'm not gambling.
All right.
For sure.
You're not going to end up on any police blotter.
No, I don't got that type of money. Can't do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. You got a lot of responsibility on your hands, and we always appreciate you stopping by and everything you do for us.
Thanks, Tony.
Make sure MLB.com. Give out your handle.
Martín J. Gallegos on Twitter.
On Twitter. Follow him. Retweet him. Read him. You are our beat writer. You're the one.
I'm the one.
All right, my man. Be well. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good, Tony.
Coming up next, we got A's players and great stories right here on A's Cast Live.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details. With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep. If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try the world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdogs, Oakland Athletics, win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
If you're looking for the latest green and gold gear for the 2023 season, then look no further than athletics.com/shop for your officially licensed gear. That's athletics.com/shop. The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Come see us in the Treehouse. It's happy hour, baby. What was it? The pink lemonade Kettle One drink, a citrus hoppy.
Yeah, the beer that I might have to try this weekend.
Why, you gonna try it today?
No, I'll be working.
You're afraid, huh?
I don't.
What was the other drink?
You said it was a pink lemonade thing, right?
No, there's two beers.
Oh, I don't remember.
Blue Moon.
Oh, nice.
By the way, I bet you don't know this. What is the only beer brewed out of Coors Field? Coors Field.
I'm gonna go.
That's a Coors beer sponsorship. Coors. What's the only beer brewed out of Coors Field? Do you know?
I think this is the trivia question that I once asked. Maybe I think it might have been the first question that the great Johnny Dosco ever got.
To Johnny D. Yes, it is. That is correct.
It would be Blue Moon.
I was absolutely shocked by that. Now, when you ask Johnny the questions, a lot of the time I don't know. So I'm getting them at the same time. And when you ask that, what beer is brewed out of Coors Field? And you're like, this is the dumbest question ever. And then you realize Blue Moon, not Coors. I'll give you a trivia. What is original Coors called?
Coors Banquet.
The banquet beer. So not the Banquet, not Coors Light, not Coors. What other Coors are there?
Coors Light, Coors Banquet. I think isn't it? I think there's only two. I don't drink. I do drink Banquet.
Oh wow! Don't say you don't drink. You drink anything that would be a sponsor.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I drink Banquet. I'm a big Banquet guy.
Magnum PI drank the Banquet beer back in the day. Tom Selleck.
What town has the Magnum PI bar? Is that Houston?
Houston, Texas has a bar. This huge bar. It's kind of like a little bit like a club type bar. But then in the back, they have a second bar connected, and the whole bar is Magnum PI. So on all the TVs, I actually have the picture still on my phone. That would tell me what the place was. But they still have the TVs. They're constantly running different episodes of the show Magnum PI. Everybody is dressed. All the bartenders are dressed as TC, Rick, or they're dressed as the characters. And every drink and everything in there obviously is something related to Magnum PI. Hilarious. Houston, Texas. Who would have thought Magnum PI, the setting was Hawaii. They keep Magnum PI alive at a bar in Houston.
Maybe we'll have to go to Houston and check it out.
What was I there for?
Raiders.
Oh, it was
Raiders, Texans.
It was Raiders, but that Saturday night I went to a Rockets game, and we went from the Rockets game over.
That's one where we got one of the greatest drops we ever got from the show. Where from Blummer, he's like, "Oh, hey, I'll do anything to hang out with Chris Townsend."
Every city, I just want to tell everybody right now out in this world, because of politics, people want to hate on certain states, and, people don't like California for this, and then people don't like Texas for that. I've been very fortunate, a lot because of sports, to travel to all these towns that have professional sports teams. You can have fun everywhere. Houston, Texas, had a lot of fun. Some of the most fun I've had is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Green Bay's like that big.
I know one of my favorite towns that I've been to was when we went to Boise for the bowl game.
Boise,
Idaho. My wife and I had a good time. And
Boise had a cool downtown.
Yeah, it was cold, but it's Idaho.
It was
in January. December.
It was big league cold.
Yeah, the bowl game they played there this year.
It was freezing.
It was actually really nice there this year. When I watched it on television, when we won, it was freezing.
It was freezing. It was literally freezing.
But a fun town. I recommend people going to check it out.
Yeah, had a good time in Boise. By the way, there's a bar in Green Bay, Wisconsin that is Christmas year-round.
I bet you that bar makes a lot of money.
So we went in there, and everything's Christmas. It's Christmas lights, everybody who's dressed in Christmas, and it's year-round. Christmas, because when I was in Green Bay with the Raiders, it was I was wearing shorts. It was first part of the season, so it was nice weather. But everybody in there, it's Christmas lights. There's the Christmas train going around. It's Christmas year. You find quirky, cool places everywhere you go. Travel, folks. It's one of the greatest things in life.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a bad city that I've been to yet.
Oh, there's some bad ones. Depends where you go in those cities.
Everywhere I've gone with my wife or we traveled, they've been fun.
Who are we playing right now?
Kyle McCann.
No.
Oh, Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
Been to Cleveland a couple times. I'm just going to say, is this thing on? I don't think I ever need to go to Cleveland again.
Well, here's more bad news. Bleacher Report ranked the jerseys. Cleveland's ranked number 30.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was cool, but I don't need to do it again.
I did that before, too. That was where our 8th grade field trip was. 8th grade field trip, originally supposed to be to Toronto. SARS hit. The original SARS hit when I was in 8th grade. Did you
have SARS?
No, we pivoted. So when you think Toronto, you think, okay, that's a cool trip. We pivoted to Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. The other city I never need to go back to was where the Big Red Machine came from.
Oh, I know you're not a big Natty fan. Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati is not. No. Went over to the Kentucky bars.
Oh.
I'm whispering, by the way. I'm whispering. I don't want people to hear. The Kentucky bars right across the bridge.
Yes.
They're still smoking indoors.
Right?
You know that?
Yes.
So we go across.
South.
We go across the. It's not even the South.
Kentucky's, I think, considered the South.
Is it
Cincinnati's?
It's its own
the Natty
world.
is not.
Cincinnati and Kentucky. Somebody, I don't know. There was a famous author that talked about if the world ever comes to an end, go to Cincinnati because then it'll happen 2 years later. You ever heard that?
Yes, I forget who it was though.
Has anybody ever heard that? Ray, have you ever heard that? That if the world's going to end, you go to Cincinnati because then it won't happen until 2 years later. You never heard? No. No one's ever heard that?
I just don't remember who said it.
But if you're ever in Cincinnati, you cross over and it's Kentucky, right? And they have the whiskey bars there. And we went over there and you walk in and they're all still smoking. And
smoking heaters.
And they're heart darts everywhere, baby. They're smoking heart darts. And everybody looks like they're 10 years older than they really are. And
that's fair. Someone who grew up in the Midwest.
And you can tell they're smoking cigarettes. And you walk in, it's like, you boys ain't from around here, are you? No, we are not.
Speaking of heaters, we play Detroit next week. Got to have to reach out to Smoking Jim.
Smoking Jim.
Get talking about the Hall of Fame.
The last man to smoke in a Major League Baseball dugout while wearing spikes is now going into the Hall of Fame. Friend of the program, the great Jim Leland.
Well, I'll definitely have to reach out.
He deserves it. He was a winner.
Yeah.
All right. No more on Ohio states and bagging on Ohio and heart darts.
I hope Kyle McCann's not from Ohio.
No, he's Georgia.
Georgia, okay, yeah.
He's from. He went to Georgia Tech.
I don't know if he just decided to live in Ohio and then grow up in Ohio and then went to Georgia Tech.
Who's from Ohio? Was Chris Bassett living in Ohio?
Yes, Bassett's Ohio.
Seabass, right?
So
not a lot of guys.
Big Murph is from.
There's guys who are from Ohio, but they moved to places like Arizona and Florida.
Sean Murphy was from like the Dayton area. I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that Steph Curry country?
Wow, I thought he was Akron.
Was he Akron? No, LeBron's Akron.
Well, no, I think Steph was born in Akron too. Born in Akron.
Dell was playing for. Why would
I don't know?
Why would Dell Curry?
I remember if you look up, someone said like Steph Curry was born in Akron.
His dad was an NBA player. What the hell would he be doing in Akron? How far is that from? Was Dell a Cavalier when he was born?
Curry grew up in Charlotte after he was born on March 14, 1988 at Akron City Hospital, and his father, Dell, played for the Cavaliers for one season. There it is.
So do Cavaliers live in Akron then?
I guess that's close. I don't know.
To be honest with you, I really don't care.
I mean, that's the MAC, baby.
If you said I'm not going back to Ohio, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
I'd be okay.
All right, Kyle McCann.
Nothing against I like the Big Red Machine this year, though, but my Reds are losing, though. Am I hopping on the Reds bandwagon?
Frankie Montas pitched really well yesterday. He's healthy. Went 6 innings. Reds have some ball players, as I say, even though Matty McClain's hurt and Noel V. Marte suspended for 80 games.
They do. All right, Kyle McCann. We caught up with him earlier today. A great story about how Kyle got called into the office and he was told, your dreams are coming true. You're going to the big leagues.
Hold on. Sorry. Okay.
Cool things to start the season is guys making this club, especially guys who are drafted by the A's, raised by the A's. Kyle, congratulations. A dream come true. You've made it to Major League Baseball.
Yes. Feels so good. Dream come true. Wanted this ever since I was a kid. So to make the opening day roster it's everything I could ask for.
When we go through spring training, we're always thinking about the roster. Are you thinking about it as you're seeing guys? Unfortunately, guys get injured, guys get sent down. Are you really following the process, or are you just sticking with, I'll just try and control what I can control?
I try to control what I can control, but I'm not going to lie. I definitely think about it for sure. Yeah, I'm like, I'm right there. But I just keep telling myself, do my thing, go out there and just play the game of baseball, and everything will work itself out.
Talk about what it means to be drafted by the club and then to come up with the club that you were drafted by, because we mention all the time that they've raised you through the system.
Yeah, it's awesome. I got to go through the whole minor leagues, and Oakland A's is my family. It's what it feels like. So to come up throughout the system with them, it's a great feeling.
Now, when you're a 4th round pick, right?
4th round.
Yeah,
pick.
when you're a high pick out of college, Georgia Tech, Rambling Wreck. I know you're very proud of your university. One of the great universities out west. We don't realize that Georgia Tech. This is not just an average university. It's hard. It's it's a technical institute. It's a no joke school.
Yeah, it is. It's tough, but they supply tutors for us and help us out. So, but it was a tough school to get through, but it's really not as bad as people think. But it's definitely up there.
So as coming out of college, the expectations, you don't want to hang out in the minor leagues a long time.
No. I'm trying to get up here as fast as I can.
And when we think about your role, talk about how you see your role. This is only the 2nd game of the year, right? It's raining outside. I don't even know if we're going to play it. But, talk about what they have told you about your role, because I think pinch hitting could be a big part of your role.
Yeah, obviously Shea's the starting catcher. He's going to catch the majority of the games, and when I have a chance to catch a game or even pinch hit, I'm just going to do my best to help the team and help win ball games.
Well, because it's super valuable, right? Because when you think about what you can bring to the team coming off the bench, how much have you pitch hit in your career?
Honestly, not that much.
Yeah.
I haven't pinch hit that much, but in spring training, I caught or would hit in the back half of the game. So I kind of gotten used to it, but all in all, it's baseball. Go up there and see a pitch you want and hack at it.
When you think about the relationship between a catcher and the pitchers, there's 13 pitchers, and you've got to know each guy.
Yeah.
You got to know what their stuff is. But sometimes even more important than that, is the fact that you need to know what makes them tick.
Yeah.
So what's it like? You have to make sure you develop that relationship,
Yes.
right? It can't be like wait for the pitcher.
Yeah.
What is that like trying to get to know 13 different guys and what makes them tick?
For me, it's just talking to them throughout the clubhouse and getting to know them better, and then catching their bullpens. You know what they're working on, you know what they want to do, and the more you catch them, the more you learn from them.
And when you look at all the different data and technology, what is that? I know you have a lot in the minor leagues. What is it like so far? I know it's only game 2, but what's it like, all the information you have available, not only on you guys, but the other team? What is that like incorporating?
It's awesome. I mean, they have so much information for us, whereas in the minors, it's not as much information. So to see all these little things that you can learn on and just learn the game and learn how to pitch guys certain ways, learn how like certain hitters, where not to pitch them, where to pitch them. It's cool, and I'm enjoying it right now. I'm learning, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it's such a cerebral position because of all the information. Not only, as we said, you got to know the pitcher, you got to know the opposing team, and there's every 3 days, 4 days, there's a new team to learn. So just talk about how there is so much information you have to process.
There is. So before each series, the catchers, we got to do a full report on all the hitters and what the hitters are against right-handed pitchers and left-handed pitchers. So it's time consuming for sure, but it's fun at the same time, because as a catcher, when you're doing all this homework, you're learning more and more, and it becomes second nature when you're calling pitches out in the game.
Like, you're going to be like a great fantasy baseball player. You're going to know everybody in the league, and you'll know what makes every guy tick.
Yeah.
Take us through the process of finding out you're making the team. How did they call you in? What was your thought process going in? Just take us through all that.
So it was Bushy came up to me after the San Francisco game and at Oracle Park, and Bushy said, "Hey, Kotz wants to see you." So, which I knew after the game they were going to call me in.
So Kotz wants to see you, but you don't know yet.
I don't know. So,
this could be going down.
Yes.
Okay.
So heart's racing, obviously. I go in. It's him and Forrest. He starts it off by saying, "Great spring. You had a great AAA year last year. Last year we had the same meeting. We sent you down to AAA, but this year I'm proud to tell you that you're going to be a big leaguer." And as soon as he said it, my heart dropped. Everything. It was so surreal. It was awesome.
Do you remember like anything else he said after that?
It was a blur. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was the time that he told me I was a big leaguer. So that's what I've been working for my whole life, and it was dream come true.
So you walked out of that meeting, then what?
Well, they actually they let me stay in the room to call my family and let them know. But then once I walked out, it was all the teammates were like, "Did you make it? Did you make it?" Yeah. And once they found out, everyone was giving me hugs and congratulating me. So it was a great time.
So you called your family with David Forrest and Mark Kotze in?
No, they left, and then I called them. Yeah.
Tears?
Yes, my family everyone was tearing up some bit. Yeah, it was what we've all been working for. They've been supporting me my whole life, so
yeah,
it was awesome.
Were they here yesterday for the game?
No, they're coming in today.
Well, let's hope the rain keeps them away, because we try and tell people all the time. And I was doing the post game show last night, and I saw so many people were taking pictures with family after the game.
Yeah.
And you make the big leagues, but they're making the big leagues too, because someone had to drive you and sit through all those games. Our parents all did that for all of us.
Yeah.
Whether it's parents, grandparents, some guys are married, girlfriends, brothers, sisters. I mean, it takes a village to get everybody to the big leagues. So just kind of talk about that, what that means to the family.
For my family, it means everything, because like you said, they took me to all my travel games. They bought all my bats, all my equipment growing up. My dad even coached me in Little League, so he wanted this for me. Like he actually played professional baseball. He didn't make it though. He got up to AAA, so
that's pretty high level.
To see him see him show emotion when I made it was awesome, because obviously he's very proud of me, and it's still so surreal. So dream come true.
No doubt. And of course, you always want you want your kids to have better than you have.
Yeah.
And the fact that you make it, and I mean, you get to AAA. I mean, talking to Lucas Ursig, who made it as a hitter to AAA, it's a big deal. I mean, you're right there with the best in the world. Let's end on this. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I think it's big that when you get drafted by an organization and you make it to the big leagues with that organization, not only is it big for you, but thinking about yourself in the minor leagues, what does it say to the rest of the guys in the minor leagues We know Oakland is the land of opportunity. You get here, you play, you have a chance. But when yourself and Lawrence Butler and you guys make it up, Nick Allen, what does that say to the rest of the minor leaguers when you guys get promoted?
Keep grinding, keep doing your thing, because there is a lot of opportunity in this organization. And for them to see us make it, I mean, that's got to give them all the hope in the world. So have them, I would just say, keep grinding, do your thing, and good things will happen.
Well, thanks for sharing your story. It's something special. And,
awesome.
Good luck to you.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully we're doing this for many years.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you.
Well, it means a lot to draft guys, to promote guys. It says a lot for the system. As yesterday, David Force told us, Eric Kubota now has had 100 guys playing big league baseball who he has drafted. It says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And hopefully we'll see McCann over this weekend. We'll see our next guest when we play Mitch Spence. We'll see Mitch Spence.
Yeah.
He knows that a guy we drafted, but he's a guy that we're trying to develop. And it's been great to see. All these young guys are starting to come up now. We're going to see Hernandez play. I know he's not our guy officially, but he's been in our system now.
He's our guy.
Lawrence
How about
Butler.
this? Hernandez's father played professional baseball. I'm going to try and interview Hernandez's father tomorrow. We're going to try and get that for you, to have Daryl Hernandez's father talk about another proud papa being in the building. We're trying to get all these stories because these stories are fantastic. The sun is out.
I didn't see that in the weather forecast.
Vito, we going to pass out sunscreen? The sun is out. Let's go. All right, what do we got? We going to do buying or selling now?
We can do buying or selling. You know, I completely forgot. I forgot.
What?
That we haven't opened for it. That's how long it's been since we've done it.
Wow. We haven't done it in a while?
It's been a while, so here we go.
It's time for buying or selling.
Sell.
Right now with Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live.
Buying or selling? Are we buying it? Or are we calling it garbage and we're selling it?
It's been so long since I've used the music, I forgot we had it. All right.
All righty.
So first one, Mike Trout, Trouty, hit a home run on opening day for his first home run of the season. It was the first home run hit on American soil. I made that joke yesterday. But
hanging slider, Corbin Burns, the only mistake he made.
But I'm going to keep using that joke anyway. Yes, it was the only mistake he made. He'll be in here later on in buying.
He'll be here.
I wish he was here. This will be, they played St. Mary's. This will be Mike Trout's 14th season. Crazy to think already. He currently has 369 career home runs.
Trout's played in 14 seasons?
I know. Meaning he needs 31 to reach 400 career home runs. Trout hit 40 home runs in 2022, but 18 last season as he only played in 82 games. He's played 100 games once since 2019. Buying or selling, Mike Trout will reach 400 career home runs this season.
He's 31?
Yeah.
I'm buying.
Okay. I like
Trout doesn't need a lot of games to put up numbers.
Fair.
So if Trout plays in 130-something games, I'll buy that. We need Mike Trout's one of the great talents in the history of the game. We need him to play. The fact that I saw in the notes before their game yesterday that since 2021 he's only played 49% of the potential games for the Angels, that's not good for baseball.
No, not at all. And I know the Angels.
He wants to sit out against the A's, but even with that, I don't want that. I want to watch him play. You want to watch the greatest players play. What was one of the things about Ricky Henderson? What was the thing about Barry Bonds? What was the thing about my guy George Brett, or the best players? You want to see them play. They're the greatest. You want to watch Jerry Rice. You want to watch Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. You want to see them play, and when they can't play, it sucks.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm glad NBA fixed load management, because guys just weren't playing because they weren't playing. But yes, I'm with you 100%. You want to see the great. I hope Trout gets there. We already know how much he owns the A's.
Don't forget, we got foam fingers here in the Treehouse.
Yeah. So Juan Soto is 25 years old and will be a free agent after the season. Yesterday on opening day, he made a defensive play to save the game for the Bronx Bombers. It led everywhere that the Yankees won because of Juan Soto.
I saw the defensive metrics on this. It was like 86 miles an hour. It was only 140 feet. So MLB was like, as everybody's like, this is like, my God, he's playing defense. And then our buddy Mike Petriello, who is the king of StatCast, that measures everything and goes, it was kind of a basic throw.
Well,
you guys are acting like he's Jesse Barfield playing for the Yankees, throwing it from one of the great throwers of the baseball of all time. Google it, folks.
Great line. Great thrower of the ball. I love that. When they
Thrower of the baseball.
When they talk about that for football. Great thrower of the football.
Yeah. He could spin it.
Yeah, they were saying it's a heroic play by
It was
game one.
It was 100. It was an 86 from short. It was 140 feet away. Like when you do the stat cast, this throw is not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So anyway, continuing, experts predict.
But that's why you play in New York. Because you play in New York, everything gets magnified, good or bad. Yeah. But that's when you're good. It's like, that's why you play in the Bronx. That's where you signed to be the Yankees. That's why you want to play there. You can become a star.
So experts have predicted, some like Jim Bowden, he'll get a contract for $500 million, but after the offseason one for Boris, I don't know. Soto has the opportunity to have the best year of his career playing at Yankee Stadium. He was 1 for 3 yesterday with 2 walks. He could be the AL MVP. Buying or selling, Juan Soto will get over $400 million this offseason.
I thought you were going to go $500 million.
I thought about it, but I was like, I'd made it a little easier.
Yeah, you don't know. You made it harder because $500 million, I was selling. No way. We don't know what kind of year he's going to have. I'm going to have to buy. I got to buy that somebody's going to be stupid enough to give him $440 million, and they'll try and sell it, and he'll walk a lot. He'll have some years where he hits. But even Mike Petriello, who loves MLB.com, StatCast guy, loves Juan Soto because he walks. Even he had to admit today, I saw it with my own eyes, talking about how Juan Soto is not good defensively.
I mean, it's true. He's not a good base runner either.
But he's 25. If you're not good at 25, what are you going to be at 35?
DH?
Well, you can DH. Name me the guy, please. Name me the guy who signed the long-term mega contract, who they said, well, he can just DH, and that turned out to be a great contract. Name me the guy. Pujols could DH. They ran him out of town.
Yeah. There isn't one.
Miguel Cabrera could DH. They couldn't wait for him to leave. It was awful. It was painful, and it was awful. This whole when all you can is DH and you're making that kind of – in the old days, it was fun when Dave Winfield or Paul Molitor or George Brett or any of these guys were Reggie Jackson, they were the DH. But they weren't making $34 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, that when these guys are making huge loot, and all they can do is DH, and they're not that productive, and their numbers stink. We weren't looking at guys' numbers back then like we do now. We're looking at these guys going, wait a minute, the DH position could be used as almost like a day off. We don't want a full-time guy. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying, anytime you sign a long-term contract, and the answer is, don't worry, at the end of the contract, he can be a DH, all those have been disasters.
Yes, everyone has been. And
disaster.
We'll see how Ohtani's deal works out. You know, a lot of it's deferred.
But Soto's so young. When you say a 10-year contract, he'll only be 36 when the thing's over. It's not going to be like Pujols, who's like 85 years old.
Special assistant.
What was he, 42 or is it?
Yeah,
Miguel Cabrera.
He ended as a Cardinal anyway. Okay.
Once again, spring training, when Pujols shows up, special assistant. Actually, no, I've turned on. I think Albert Pujols could be, if he wanted to, could be like the top baseball analyst. He's phenomenal breaking down games.
Yeah.
We've gotten a little bit of it, and when he does it, you're like, oh, wow. And, of course, speaks Spanish, so he can talk to the Spanish player. If Albert Pujols wanted to be a studio guy, an analyst, I heard him break down running bases. He's the ultimate slug, but he has a unbelievable baseball mind, Albert Pujols. And he can communicate it, which is hard to do.
He's managing somewhere, I believe, now, too. I don't know if it's in the Dominican or he's managing a team somewhere. And he was on Buster Olney's podcast a few weeks ago, and Buster said, I think in the next couple of years, Albert Pujols will be manager of Major League Baseball.
I wish he'd do TV because he can really explain what's going on at a high level. Not all great players can do that. Pujols, I was shocked. First time I saw it, I was like, damn, this is really good.
Are you replacing A-Rod?
I would replace. If you go to YouTube, if you can find some clips of it, Albert Pujols is phenomenal at breaking down baseball, talking baseball. He's got a good cadence. He's got a good rhythm to the way he speaks. He breaks it down. I think he could be one of the top analysts in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy
A-Rod stinks.
Oh, wow. And then he's not going to be the full-time owner or whatever of the Timberwolves now either. I think something happened with that sale. I didn't.
They bought him out?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I could be wrong, but
you're not up on your T-Wolves knowledge?
Sorry, I know they're having a good year in the West, though. All right, so yesterday, Shane Bieber made his 5th straight opening day start for the Guardians, and he was pretty good, 6 scoreless and 11 strikeouts. It was his 3rd opening day start with double-digit strikeouts. He'll be a free agent after the season. Teams like the Yankees could go after him. The Cubs and Reds have had interest in him before. Buying or selling Shane Bieber will be the first major player traded this season.
I can't. Who knows?
He's free agent after the year. Guardians.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be traded. I don't know if he'll be the first guy. I'll buy it, but he will be because I know he will be traded.
Yes.
Bieber will not be on the Guardians. Bieber was an Indian.
Yes, he was.
And we've learned from Tom Hamilton, we can say if a guy played for the Indians, we talk about his career as an Indian and then as a Guardian. You can do both.
Yeah.
And that's how they want it.
There's
Bieber will be traded 100%. Will he be the first guy, the first major piece to go? I'll buy it just because I'll get some good odds on that.
Yeah, you're probably right. So last one.
And also, most career double-digit strikeout starts opening day since the start of 1893.
Good year.
Who am I? I have the most. Double-digit strikeouts to start opening day.
Randy Johnson.
Since 1893, he's done it 4 times.
Randy Johnson.
Bieber, Scherzer, King Felix, those are probably all against us. Pedro and Bob Gibson, all at 3.
Wait, how's Nolan Ryan not on there?
Maybe he wasn't opening day all the time.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
J.R. Richards?
The Express.
Mike Scott.
Mike Scott.
All right, last one.
Kenny Rogers.
Nelson Cruz finished his duties throwing out the ceremonial first pitch before the Mariners played the Red Sox.
Did he get it
night.
to the?
I didn't see it. And walked over to a little stand set up behind the plate. He signed a ceremonial 1-day contract to retire as a Seattle Mariner. Oh, it gets better.
Nelson Cruz?
He spent 19 seasons in the majors with 8 different teams, but his longest stint was with Texas, obviously. But he was a 3-time All-Star in Seattle. Led the league with 119 runs batted in 2017. You'll tell me it's a team stat. And he hit 163 homers in 4 seasons in Seattle, the most he had with any team, even more than the 8 years in Texas. Buying or selling, Nelson Cruz retiring as a Seattle Mariner.
Yeah, I got him as a Ranger.
Same, Ranger. Oh, you might say an Oriole. Maybe, I remember him as a Padre.
Or Twin. Is he the modern?
He was on the Bama squad.
Is he the modern day Ricky Henderson?
Oh wow! Oh wow!
How many teams did Nelson Cruz play for?
Wasn't it? Didn't I say 8?
8?
Hold on. I have it right here. He played for 8 different organizations.
So buying or selling him as a career Mariner? Yeah. Selling. I got him as a Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger. He played 8 years.
But it's a business, right? Who wants to pay and honor him? Well, Texas is doing everything for Beltre these days.
Yeah.
Seattle now give me some money and
boomstick baby, boomstick. So that's buying or selling.
Nelson Cruz, though, great career, will never get in the Hall of Fame. PEDs.
That is.
He was suspended for PEDs.
Yes.
He'll never get in. Not saying I agree with that. I'm just telling you, just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
I'm going to try to real quick before we get to Mitch Spence. I'm going to pull up his. Let's go over the teams he's played for. Organizations. Milwaukee.
I never thought of great Brewer Nelson Cruz. What year was that and how many games?
2005. He played in 8 games. He hit no home runs.
Shame on me for not knowing that.
Then he played in Texas. Then he played in Baltimore. Then Seattle. Then Minnesota. Then I can't believe you forgot when he was a great Ray.
He was a Ray?
He was a Ray for 55 games. Then he
forgot about that.
Then he was a Nat.
He was a Nat?
And then he was a Padre. So
Nelson
Padres.
Cruz, that's right. He was a Padre. That was
last year
at the very end. Yeah.
So Padres, Nats, Rays, Twins, Seattle, Baltimore, Texas, Milwaukee.
I take it all back. I got him going as a Brewer or a National.
When I think of great Brewers,
career WAR. No defense. What's his career WAR?
42.1. 464 career home runs.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's
how many RBIs?
1,325.
That's a lot.
He sold 84 bags too.
It's a lot. He had a great career.
What do you think his OPS plus was?
122.
Close. 130. Remember, league average is 100. He was 30. Oh, better.
He's the Hall of Good, but he has no chance because of the PED suspension.
Ranger Hall of Famer.
And he could never. He's for sure Ranger Hall of Famer.
All right. Will they retire his jersey?
Do you put him on the boomstick hot dog? Is that what you put him on? Isn't their hot dog the boomstick in Arlington?
I think so. Right? Yeah, it is. Yes.
If the Giants have their McCovey Cove wall or whatever the hell it's called, what do the Rangers have?
Pablo's going on it. Did you know that? They were going to put Pablo Sandoval on the wall. He actually had some good years with the Giants, but
will he have a pizza on top of his cap?
Oh wow! Will he be scrolling Instagram? Well, that's the Red Sox Wall of Fame.
Are the Red Sox? Pablo still wants to play though. By the way, are the Red Sox going to honor Pablo?
I don't think so. The Red Sox honored him by paying his contract when he left to go back.
Oh my God! $95 million. They paid this man $95 million to do nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. $95 million for nothing. $95 million. Think about that, folks. He did nothing for $95 million.
We scrolled Instagram during a game. I mean, that's what he was.
His pants ripped.
No, his butt. Didn't his belt explode? Anyone?
Yeah, something exploded.
Pablo Sandoval. I think his belt.
That.
I think his belt exploded or something. And that
he
was
got $95 million. There's people starving to death, and he got $95 million to do nothing.
And then he came back and actually had a decent year with the Giants.
Criminal. What exploded? Belt or pants?
Hold on. It was his belt. Okay, it was his belt. So we're confirmed. Our intern Patrick's trying to get the YouTube video going, but he's got ads and.
Well, here's the question: do the Red Sox honor him?
Oh wait! Oh, let's see. He's facing our Dickie video. That's a former Cy winner.
That's the butterfly. That's the knuckleball.
Oh, there it is. There it is. The belt. There it is.
Pablo Sandoval's belt broke while taking a hellacious hack. That's just when you know. That's when you know your career's going bad.
I can make these jokes because I was large and I've lost a lot of weight.
Aubrey Huff, his former teammate, used to tell me the stories about him. I mean, they're legendary. Like, he would beat up the post-game spread and then go out drinking, partying, and would eat pizzas, stop at. Like, he was legendary going to certain spots in San Francisco late night.
There's good pizza in San Francisco.
I mean, he looks in way better shape now.
He did, yes.
I bet the Red Sox wish he looked in that kind of shape when they signed him.
I'm sure they would probably take him back right now.
You bet on that, or do you bet on Ohtani?
Oh, wow.
Is that too soon for both?
I'll bet on Ohtani.
Okay. Mitch Spence, Rule 5 pick. Took him from the Yankees. Has to be on the roster. He makes the team. David Force, the GM. Scott Emerson, the pitching coach. They like him a lot. He's going to be a swingman. He's going to get starts this year. But more importantly, he showed up here to A's Cast Live.
Great to have you on the program. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been an interesting ride for you. It's something we want to get into. I know I got to talk to you briefly down at spring training. We never got you on the show. That's why we wanted to get you on early. But the ride of being a Rule 5 pick is it's flat out different.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy thing, especially like going into last offseason. It was like, am I going to get protected on the 40-man? And then, going to the Rule 5 draft, it's like you kind of don't want to because it's kind of a luck thing where it's like you just don't know what's going to happen depending on what teams need and stuff like that. So, like, I was really hopeful going into Rule 5, but I didn't have any high expectations. And then, I get taken and it's, me and my wife are going crazy. So it was awesome.
What were your first thoughts when you heard it was Oakland?
I mean, I was just excited for whatever team was going to take me. Like I said, I didn't have high expectations. So, obviously, like there's a lot of opportunity over here. So that was, the biggest thing I was excited about. And then having a couple buddies that have, got traded over here was also awesome. So, yeah, we were ecstatic.
Yeah, because, guys like Ken Waldichuk, a guy at JP Sears. Mm-hmm. So these are guys you were in the minor leagues with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, they were, me, Louie, and Ken, we all came up together. I didn't really play with JP very much, but I don't think we ever met, but I knew of him.
Yeah. So Luis Medina.
Yeah. So it was helpful coming over here and knowing those guys already.
Because it's kind of a scary thing because you get drafted. Now you were the University of South Carolina, but not the Gamecocks.
No.
You were University of South Carolina.
Aiken.
Yeah. So you get drafted, you go to the Yankees, and you think you're going to a new organization. I mean, it is scary because you're getting picked by, you don't know any of the coaches. I mean, luckily there was some Yankees here, but it's a scary situation.
Yeah.
Talk about how you're showing up and it's like the new guy in a new school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the A's did a really good job of like, when I got taken, a bunch of people reached out and they were really welcoming. And like, Emo lives like an hour and 15 minutes from me. So like he came out and we got lunch. So like they did a really good job of like making me feel welcome and kind of introducing themselves so that when I came into camp, I kind of had I knew some names and stuff like that. So that was great. So it wasn't like just coming in, like I didn't know anybody. I knew some of the staff already. And so that was extremely helpful.
No doubt about it. So when they told you made the club, what was it like?
It was surreal. I mean, it's kind of hard to put into words how awesome it feels. Like the past 4 days, it's just felt like a complete dream. And it's hard to describe. Like you work your whole life for it and you finally get that. And it's just, I called everybody I knew and, my parents flew out, my grandparents flew out. So it's just,
that was last night. They're here last night.
Yeah, they were here last night. So yeah, it's been awesome. And, it's through the roof. I'm walking on clouds right now. That's all I can say.
Take us through the process of how you learned. I mean, obviously it's Kotz wants to see, take us through that process.
So I showed up to the field and Waldachuk was kind of showing me around. We were going down to the weight room and we ran into Kotz. He's like, "Hey, I've been looking for you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then he's like, so he calls me into his office. He's like, "Hey, we're set the final rosters. You've been pitching great and, you've made the opening day roster." And that was just like, my heart's going crazy. My eyes just started sweating a little bit. So and then he gave me a big hug and it was awesome.
First person or people you called?
My wife was the first person I called. Yeah. Easy call. And then, she's tearing up on the phone and then I call both my parents and then it's just, from there, it's just anybody I could get a hold of.
Yeah. It's just so special. Were you one of the guys after the game taking pictures on the field?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm up there doing the post-game show. It's always kind of one of the highlights of my year to watch that. And I get to see it every year at different times of the year when, there used to be the September call-ups and but to see you guys last night, to see the families, and when we just talked to Kyle McCann about it, it's like, it takes a lot to get to the big leagues. It's just not you. As you mentioned, your wife, your parents who took you to all those games and
100%.
Grandparents. And talk about the whole process. You're making the big leagues, but the family's making the big leagues.
I mean, yeah, just the amount of weekends and that my parents gave up for it. And then, I mean, I played baseball. My little brother swam. So like just the amount of weekends that they gave up to, drive us, 2 hours to a game or to a swim meet and stuff. So like, they gave a lot. And then my wife, she's kind of putting our life on hold in North Carolina to travel around the world, or around the country really, to just, we've been all over the Northeast and now we're coming out West. They've done so much for me. I can't even thank them enough.
I got to ask your parents, what was worse, sitting around all those baseball games or swim meets?
They would probably say swim meets.
Watching kids go back and forth in the pool.
They spend a lot of hours at an indoor pool, and they spend a lot of hours watching baseball games. So yeah, they've been great.
Okay, so in spring training, because I've been talking about you just don't know it. So in spring training, you get done, and spring training's a different animal because we're able to come down and talk to the starting pitcher. So I wanted to meet you. I come down, and there's John Shea, our national baseball writer for the Chronicle, Martín Gallegos from MLB.com, and me. And I allow them to do because they got to do stuff for their stories. And then I start asking you questions. And you said something that I absolutely love because I use the line all the time. Because during the season, especially the good years, people will call up to the show and they'll say, are they going to make a trade? And I always say, you've got to force the front office. Your play will force them to either add or subtract.
Yep.
Force their hand. Well, you probably don't remember this, but you said to me, I want to force them to make the decision. And I went, I like this guy because that's the way you need to think. I'm going to pitch so well. I'm going to force David Force, who obviously likes me, took me in the Rule 5 draft. I'm going to force him to put me on the big league roster because if you didn't make it, you get offered back to the Yankees. Yeah. So talk about that mentality that I'm coming in and I'm going to force them to have to pitch me.
Yeah, the biggest thing coming into camp was I really got one opportunity to kind of show what I've got and what I can offer. And that's all I can really do. So I'm going to come in here and try and make their decision as hard as possible of whether or not they're going to keep me. And that's just kind of that was my mentality the whole spring. And, that just kind of come and show what I could offer.
Now, your role is really interesting because, let's face it, we used 24 different starting pitchers last year. The average team will go through like 12, 13 guys. So everybody's going to get an opportunity. But right now, the role of the swing man, you can come in and relieve, you can come in and start. Talk about when they said this is your role to start the season.
I mean, I kind of had, like, towards the end of spring, I kind of had an idea that I was heading more towards that long relief role. But my biggest thing was, like, I just want to help this team any way possible. And whether that's coming out of the bullpen, whether that's starting, like, I just want to have some sort of role. And so I'm just trying to be as flexible as possible. And whatever they need me to do, I'm totally willing.
And what's interesting about this role that you're in, this role factors in decisions because the pitcher's not going 5 innings. There's a chance for a lot of W's out there. Do you think about that?
Not really. I mean, I just really trying to, like, focus on coming in and doing my job and, you know, and helping the team win. And, like, at the end of the day, if I get the W, I guess that's kind of cool. But, you know, as long as I can go out there and give us an opportunity to win some ball games, that's really all I can ask for.
Have you had your big league moment yet where you walk out or you see something or it just hits you where you just go, wow, I'm in the big leagues?
I mean, I think walking in and seeing the Coliseum for the first time, the field and everything, like, that was pretty special. But I think, you know, when I get the phone call that I get to go in and pitch, like, that's going to be, it's because right now it just feels like a dream. Right now it just feels like it's just, hey, I get to hang out and everything is great. And then, you know, when it's like, all right, hey, Spence, you got to get hot. That's when it's going to be like, all right, reality sets in. It's like, I got to go do a job. So
just to let everybody know, when we went in to get him, he's playing cards. You're in the clubhouse.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, you're just, it's fun. We're having fun.
Yep.
It's when the bullets start flying when you realize. I'm looking forward to it. It's the Rule 5 is so interesting. I mean, you got to be here for the entire year. You earned your right to be on this team, and as you said, like, the world's your oyster right now.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but, you know, I'm super excited to be here.
Well, congratulations. I'm so happy for you, so happy for your family. And I do love that. I'm going to force them to put me on the team, and you did just that with the way you pitched this spring. And I'm now super looking forward to when you get that phone call and you get up. Appreciate you stopping by.
No, thanks for having
Good
me
luck,
on.
and let's do this throughout the year.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
All right, that's going to do it for A's Cast Live from the Treehouse. Happy hour. Absolutely love it. By the way, these jackets.
Not planned.
Everything from Link Soul.
We did not plan to wear these jackets.
Great sponsor. Come see us at the Treehouse. We have the drink specials.
2 beers.
It's okay if we have the same jacket.
I know.
It's a sponsor.
Well, we did it last year in the Treehouse, too. We wore the same thing on the first day we were in here also. We had the same sweater on.
It's cold, man. It's cold. Vito, the party's on, right? We're giving away gifts. We're playing bingo right now. My favorite foam finger. Are you in or not? 2024, let's go.
I'm in. I like the foam finger. We do need that.
I'm bringing this home. I'm going
All
to put this in the home studio.
All right, good.
I got to do the foam finger. Are we done?
We're done.
We are done. Coming up next, we'll have A's Total Access as we'll get you ready for A's baseball right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. Enjoy the weekend. Stay dry, and we'll see everybody on Monday right here on A's Cast Live.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.